We may not even look at any games. We may not even look at the game itself. I might just sit here and listen to this because it's so amazing. Just look at this goddamn game. Just look at it. And it's all tied into music as well. It's just, oh, yeah. Okay, we should probably start. Hi, it's Euan from GameEngineStart.com, and we're going to take a look at Fract OSC, which is a game came out a couple of weeks ago on Steam. It kind of came out of nowhere, and then suddenly everyone was talking about it, and then it came out, which is quite a rare thing to happen. But trying to describe what the game is kind of weird. It's a first-person exploration game with a pretty heavy music influence, as you can tell. So let's actually jump into the game part of it. And actually what I'm going to do, just for the benefit of everyone here, I'm going to start a new game. I like it won't let you discard it for like 10 seconds, just in case you really mean it. Yes, discard the save game. So yeah, so it's got a huge, big music focus, but there's basically no tutorial apart from the very limited bit of tutorial you'll see at the start, and it basically just drops you in this world that, with no explanation, a very, very base concept of the controls, and then just says go and be free and investigate. And that's the intro. That's it. So you start looking about, and just to see the difference. So what you saw before was my end of game, my finished game save. So if I go into the same place and look at what it looks like when you start a new game, there's not a lot here. Everything's kind of locked down, and everything's very grey, and there's not a lot of colour or anything like that. So let's go and actually into the main game. So this is the studio, the bit you load into, which is where you can use that synthesizer to make music, and it seems to be a pretty full-featured synthesizer. You can do a lot of stuff with it, and there's some example songs on there, and YouTube's full of people using it to make some pretty cool songs. So the only interaction you've got really is just normal controls, and if you right mouse, you end up in this kind of interaction mode. So if you see the symbol here doesn't exist there, but if you go into interaction mode, it is. And you eventually learn that these are here's your controls, and that's your, like, let's affect the world around us with this with these controls that you'll only see in that kind of interact mode. So I love the look of this game. Like, every part of it just looks amazing. So yeah, let's dive into this and see. So the best way I can try and describe it is, like, imagine if Tron was real. Imagine if you could actually go all Tron and go inside a computer, and rather than going into a kind of terrible 80s computer with no processing power and everyone just looks terrible, imagine if you Troned yourself into a synthesizer, which is basically what you're doing in here. You're dropped into this world, and you very quickly realize that you're wiring a synthesizer back up. You see this kind of there's these three different colors which play a quite large part in it. There's a blue, a green, and a pink. So if we enable, so like I say again, that was just. Your right mouse gives you the control, and then you can just manipulate it with the mouse. So you've got a cursor in this mode, you can just manipulate all these controls. So there's the green bit. So each one of the colours represents a different instrument in the synthesizer. So the green one is the... oh no, I've forgotten. Green is the lead, pink is the pad, so your pad effects, your kind of melody line, and blue is your bass. And I like the blue one because the blue one sounds the best to me. So as you can see at the start, you can imagine, like, this has been a lot of this, the story of this I'm making up in my own head as I go along, but I'm imagining this is a synthesizer that's been off for a long time, hence all the fog and the kind of dust on the ground, and then you come in and start flicking switches, and basically start turning the thing back on again, blowing out the cobwebs and all that. Probably shouldn't have started here. This is not the most exciting bit of the game, but you will see. It'll be worth it, so stick with it. So there's that. I also like how there's a kind of, looking at the recording, there's a bunch of kind of weird color artifacts on it. That's part of the game. That's not my recording equipment messing up. Everything's got this kind of CRT 3-color pixel, like, remember like when you, maybe some of you don't, but your old CRT TVs, like, you went straight up to it and you would see the 3 pixels, your red, green, blue, the kind of separated the bits of every pixel. It kind of looks like that, which is weird considering how futuristic the rest of it is, that they would choose that as their kind of stylistic. I can't remember what I'm supposed to do. Ah, okay. Yes. So that one and that one. So this has activated all 3 bits. So yeah, do not adjust your set. That is actually what the game looks like. In fact, I don't think, looking at the recording, I don't think the recording's doing it justice really. So let's keep going here. Okay, so before, just to check, I'm getting a lot of, yeah. Let's turn the graphics up slightly, because I was getting a lot of tearing here, and I want the thing I just love how this game looks so much. I want to make sure that you guys can see it in the best possible light as well. So as you go on, as you're kind of moving your way through this world and switching on different elements of it, all the music starts to kind of feed into each other and flow back to this kind of main hub, and you're basically building and building and building up to this kind of ambience that you can feel pulsing throughout the whole thing. It just sounds incredible. So let's go in here. This will take us, I think, into the hub. I just love the, yeah, here we go. So I just love the kind of lo-fi polygon, the kind of very stark polygons mixed with just the kind of Tron, like, I don't know what the technical name for it is, the kind of glow bar style that's on everything, like everything's kind of bleeds out, all the lights kind of bleed over there. I don't know what it is. I call it, it's bloom, I think is how it's technically described, but I don't know if there's a better description for that. So at this point you're in the hub and you basically have, well, there's 3 sections, so you're probably gonna have to switch on 3 things, right? And that's kind of what you do. I'm cheating slightly because I've done this, but as you can see, like, I'm now, this is the game, this is me now in the game, and it's not told me anything about what I'm doing, why I'm here, what my main objective is. You just kind of go. And it's for that reason I'm not going to go too far into this, because the best part of it is just this kind of this exploration of an alien world, because it's a very, very alien world in the kind of dictionary definition sense, and you just have to learn what this world's rules are and learn to manipulate them to get where you need to get. So how you actually go about doing this, how you go about switching on the rest of this gigantic machine. There's kind of 3, like I said, there was the 3 areas, and each one of the areas has its own kind of set of puzzles to switch that specific layer on. So just to get an idea of the scale of the game, these are the kind of fast travel points to go around the world. So yeah, there's chunks here. So there's your main hub, and then as you go through, you'll activate all these different fast travel points to move through. So it's pretty decent size, especially since you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. You should allocate a lot of time to just wandering and taking in some of the sights that are there. So you see, even just the kind of ambient sounds. I just love how this game sounds. It just sounds great. So the blue section, like I said, is the bass synth section. So we'll go switch on some bass synths just so you can see what I'm talking about. Pools of bass, light bass, and you'll just be walking around and like the environments will just respond to you and start just emanating music, which is amazing. So here's the kind of what we see as the blue puzzles. So they all follow this kind of similar format, where if I'm just walking about, there's not much here. But if you go into interact mode, you can see that you can start manipulating these sections. So if I switch on the laser, you can see there's a laser. So we should start switching on different parts. So we basically want to guide the laser through all the pink sections. And you can see it's also a sequencer, right? So the beats are the kind of, it flows in music time across this thing, and every time it hits one of the pink notes, it's adding layers to the song. So let's try and solving puzzles under pressure is never a good idea. Let's try and that's probably not right. That probably needs to go there. Solving puzzles while trying to record something like this is never a good plan. Okay, I've obviously done something wrong here. So let's see. Okay. So now I can get that one and that one. There we go. So you'll solve this level of the puzzle, and then you go in here. So there's always a kind of intro puzzle to each section. There's usually about 5 of these per color section. So you'll do your intro puzzle, and then you'll get to this section, which is, these are the ones that are slightly more common throughout the different coloured sections. So they'll all end up with this kind of again kind of sequencer style bar that you can put blocks in, but what the effect those blocks have changes depending on the colour. So if I clear that out again, so I've got a limited number of blocks, and I basically need to open this door, and as you can see it flashing kind of in time. So you kind of need to just experiment and go, okay, so the top one seems to control these 2 lasers, so let's give it 2 beats worth of, that's enough to open that one, so maybe 3 will open both of them, and that lasts till the end of the bar, so they're going to be open first. That, so I probably don't need any more bars in there. So if I try the second one, maybe 2 bars is enough for that. Okay, so it's probably not open enough for me to get through there. And you can see that this one takes a long time to fill, but it stays open. So let's try flicking that around. So if I give that 3 bars. I wonder if I can get through that. So you can see a lot of this is kind of guesswork and kind of roughly seeing, just experimenting and doing what you can. So let's try messing this about. Yeah, see, it's that this one keeps shutting very quickly. So let's try. And that definitely is 3 to open that last door. So let's just try it, just so we can see what the next bit's like. Yep, okay. Just the animations and stuff. Great. So it says bass modulation 1 unlocked, and basically what that means is bass step sequencer. So basically what that means is we've unlocked the bass section of the synthesizer, the studio that we saw at the start. So at least the blue ones are now open. So this is kind of the game. You kind of basically explore different areas, bring everything back to life, build up the music, and you end up with a song, where you end up with some really, really cool music coming out of it. And the impact you get when you solve a puzzle, everything comes together, and there's just this burst of all the different instruments is merging together. It's a fantastic feeling, and the visuals just only add to it. That kind of explosion of sound that happens when you get the puzzle all right, and it's awesome. And I kind of don't want to show you anymore because, like I say, the fun of it is exploring and just admiring how cool this game looks. It's awesome. So I'll leave that here. Fract OSC is out on Steam right now. I believe it's $11.99. I think it's well worth it if you're remotely a music fan or just like stuff that looks and sounds cool, which this most definitely is. I would check it out. So we'll be back at some point in the future. Probably pretty soon. So until then, keep your eye on GameEngineStart.com for the rest of our stuff, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.